Welcome back to City Focus. The Utilities Department has many responsibilities in serving the residents of Valdosta. We have Utilities Director Darryl Muse in studio to tell us about those responsibilities and the importance of taking care of our pipes during cold weather. Welcome to the show, Darryl.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, you've been with the city for about 5 months. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to Valdosta.
Well, it's been a long trip. Originally I'm from Michigan, and of course we had cold weather 6 months out of the year, so we had to start preparing early. Most recently I was in Ocala, Florida, and pretty much the opposite of Michigan. We had no cold weather at all, so we didn't have to work as diligently to take care of our pipes during the cold weather season. I got into the public sector out of the aerospace industry originally. I'd worked for Ford Aerospace, and at some point during that I decided that I wanted to get more involved into the public sector, so I transitioned from the aerospace industry into public utilities.
Okay, cool. And for those who are not quite familiar with your department and the responsibilities, what do you guys do for the city?
Well, I like to put it simply. Our job as a utility is to take care of the water resources for the state of Georgia and for the city of Valdosta. It takes 7 divisions and a lot of folks to do that, but primarily we provide safe, clean drinking water. We take the wastewater from the homes, we treat that to a drinking water quality, and we reintroduce that back into the environment.
Okay. Now, it doesn't get cold here very often, but we just had a cold spell. We may have another in the future, in the next couple of weeks. Can you give our viewers some tips on how to protect their pipes during these cold spells?
Yeah, absolutely. Any exposed piping in the winter is subject to freeze. So there's a few things you can do in your home to make sure that doesn't happen. Primarily, I would ask that you do these things during the summer months instead of the winter months so that you're prepared when the cold weather comes. But wrapping your pipes is probably the single most important thing that you can do to protect your pipes at your home. Also, if you have garden hoses, you want to ensure they're drained prior to the freeze, and also ensure that any animals that you may have some drinking water or some other facilities that are necessary to keep them watered and fed. Gotcha. You want to make sure you secure those as well.
Okay, awesome. And for those of us who are fortunate enough to have a pool, what do we need to do to make sure that equipment doesn't get damaged?
Thanks for asking that question. That's something that's often left out. Pools are very susceptible to freezing. Even though you have a large body of water there, the pool itself is probably not going to freeze, but you're going to get damage to your pool equipment, your pumps, your filters, or any of your chlorination equipment. You need to make sure that that water keeps circulating. So I suggest about an hour prior to the expected extreme cold weather, turn your pumping system on, allow the water to circulate through the system. Moving water seldom freezes. Gotcha. And also the interjection of chlorine helps keep the water from freezing as well. If you have a salt system, make sure that you keep your salt generation system on. As you know, salt helps water to keep from freezing as well.
Gotcha. Okay, and our local businesses are very important to us. Is there anything that our commercial businesses can do to protect themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of commercial buildings have fire protection systems inside. Take the time during the summer months to inspect that piping, and if you have any leaks, get them fixed immediately. If you don't have any leaks, start wrapping those pipes, getting them prepared for the winter months. Also in the city of Valdosta, we require the commercial industries to have backflow preventers. So some folks have seen those things outside. They're the pipe coming out of the ground, a brass device, a pipe going back in the ground. That's the responsibility of the property owner. So we want to make sure that you take the opportunity to wrap those exposed pipings to make sure that they don't freeze. Now there are several options. We have heat generating tape that you can buy at Lowe's, Home Depot, or some of the other hardware stores. And it looks like black tape. You take it, wrap around the pipe, and then it has a plug on the end, and you just plug that into an electrical socket. Now it's only going to keep the pipe at about 35 degrees, but that's the goal, only to keep it above freezing. The next thing that they have available is they have insulated wrappings for those backflow devices. And you'll see around town some fiberglass boxes that people have purchased to sit over those to keep from it being exposed to the wind. Primarily, that's the most important things that the commercial industry needs to do that's different than what the residential folks need to do.
Gotcha. Okay. And these tips are important to everyone in the city because of broken pipes can be expensive and not only inconvenient, but also expensive. We thank you for coming in and giving us this important information. And we thank you for joining us, and we appreciate having you here in Valdosta. And we'll be back here on City Focus.
Thank you.